She was fired. She was fired too. Chick-fil-A fired the whole staff.
Every single last one of us got fired.
Black women that are getting laid off. You might have been able to come into the office with a bonnet every now and then because you're having a bad hair day, and now you...
So, I don't really think it's a surprise to anybody in that first video that they all got fired, because obviously I don't think your employer would want to see you making TikToks like that on the job. But anyway, it seems like more women than ever are being fired for dress code violations. So, today I have some of the best clips for you guys.
What exactly are you wearing?
I'm sorry.
You have a swimsuit on to me.
No, it's not a swimsuit, and I did not know this was a court day. I just told the lady back there that I'm not dressed properly for court at all.
Really? Yes, you are not. I agree with that 100%. That's very insulting to me that you would come into my courtroom dressed like that.
Look at the white people. 5 cases of black fatigue. Wait a minute, when you get a summons or a letter in the mail to go to court, that's not a court visit.
Yeah.
She's saying it's a visit?
Yeah.
Well, you just checking in to see where you're supposed to be at next time you get your...
Yeah, like an orientation for your court date or something.
That's crazy.
Yeah, you know everybody's gonna be dressed in suits. There's gonna be police officers, there's gonna be bailiffs, there's gonna be attorneys. People gonna be dressed to impress, to show respect to the court. And you show up like this?
She's totally lying. She's making an excuse. She knows she's looking crazy.
The next time you appear before me, you better have a solid plan in place or you are going into custody. Do you understand me?
Yes.
You owe $11,000 to the victim in this case. You don't seem to care that I've ordered you to do things. You come to court dressed very inappropriately. And I'm telling you right now, I don't know what your contact with the court has been in the past, but it's going to be different when you come in here to see me again. Do you understand me?
Yes.
Because the next time I see you, if you haven't done something, you are going into custody. Are we clear?
Yes, sir.
All right, that's all.
$11,000 in restitution.
How the hell is she gonna ever...
So, I mean, I think we all can see why the judge would feel disrespected and would be pretty mad at this lady right here. Because obviously if you go to court, you have to dress properly no matter if you're actually standing in front of the judge or just simply walking in to talk to someone.
So I'm really wearing my bonnet to work and I don't care. The guy, I go to pull to the gas station, this white guy gonna say, "You really wearing your bonnet to work?" Yes, I am. And now I'm starting to think, is everybody else gonna think that? And now I said, you know what, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I went live last night. Whoop, whoop. I did my afro and I was gonna show them this morning how my dried afro was gonna look a hot mess. And then I get up and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna wear my bonnet. I like my bonnet. I like my bonnet.
So, this lady seems to not care so much what she wears to work. So, obviously, it seems like she probably won't care as well when she gets fired.
The reason why there's over 500,000 black women that are getting laid off and having a hard time finding a job is because these companies no longer want to deal with any more racism and discrimination cases. Now, I worked in HR for over 10 years and I was actually let go because I took a look at our budget report and saw the pay differential between our white and black employees, and I exposed everything was ultimately let go. Now, being an HR girly, you're well connected with other women in HR at different companies, and a lot of us had the same experience. We would receive a lot of discrimination cases from black women in leadership positions. Now, keep in mind, these companies were required to maintain a certain amount of black and brown staff members at one point, and a lot of these women were ending up in management positions. Black women were at the top of their game for a while. But if they began to be a company nuisance, they would do anything to get their ass out of the door. And when I say a company nuisance, that means reporting discrimination, reporting racism. As soon as you do it, there is a target on your back. These companies will hold meetings with the top management and HR and say, hey, this person's becoming a company nuisance. They're affecting the company morale. What can we do to shorten their time with this company? At which point we would go through all the policies, procedures, your performance, the company handbook, and see if there is anything that they can do to get your ass up out of there. Things like you might have been able to be 15 minutes late consistently due to traffic before, but now they on your ass about your punctuality. You might have been able to come into the office with a bonnet every now and then because you're having a bad hair day, and now you out of dress code. They would look for little things to just target you to make it seem like you are not performing well on the job. And obviously, we know that it's retaliation. They know that it's retaliation, but good luck proving that it's retaliation. These companies know that only about 2% of retaliation cases are even going to go anywhere. And before it's all said and done, you're probably going to go broke in lawyer fees and probably just get a really small settlement either way, but you still ain't got no job. And you're not going to get a good referral. They're not going to give you a good referral to another company, actually. Now the DEI is over with and they don't have to hire a certain amount of black and brown people to keep their shareholders happy, discrimination cases are way down. They're able to use their HR staff to focus in on other claims and other cases. If they reduce the amount of black women that they keep in the office, they don't have to deal with the whole angry black woman stereotype. They don't have to deal with the discrimination cases. They don't have to really deal with the racism cases. And I mean, there are some, but it's a way smaller percentage than it was a couple of years ago. And so now when you see all these black women saying that they're not getting callbacks, they're not able to find a job where it was easy for them just a little while ago, you understand that they wore out that whole discrimination and racism thing with these companies to the point where they are only keeping a very small percentage of black women, and they have to move a certain type of way to even be able to keep that damn job, because they will replace your ass with a white woman.
So, I mean, it is one thing to fire someone because they're coming in wearing a bonnet or unprofessional clothes or consistently coming in late. Of course, though, it is unfortunate and wrong if you're only being solely fired because of your skin color.
I haven't gotten fired since I was a teenager. And it was because of me calling out of work and being late. And I loved that job. I loved that job. And I just said to my manager, I said, why couldn't you have emailed me and told me I was coming close to this? I'm like, you know that this is a shock.
So, to me, it seems like she did this multiple times where she was late, called out of work for no reason. And honestly, if you're doing that and you think that you're not going to get fired, then you unfortunately have a surprise waiting for you.
It's wild to me how something as simple as a bonnet can hold so much weight in our community. Y'all say it's for protecting your hair, but spiritually, when does protecting your hair stop when you leave the house? You are literally protecting your crown. And if somebody decides to protect their crown when they go to the grocery store, let them do it. They told us to straighten our hair, it will make it look better, we did it. They said perm your hair to make it look better, we did it. They said wear extensions, it'll make it look better, we did it. But we're ashamed about going outside in a bonnet when we really need to be ashamed at the fact that we don't love ourselves and love our hair. They taught us to shame ourselves. So the fact that in the community we are shaming each other for protecting our crown in whatever way we decide to is insane to me. And it's also crazy to me that a lot of y'all look outside of yourselves for others to validate how you look. Me wearing a bonnet says nothing about my self-respect, that's within me. Me wearing a bonnet says nothing about my beauty, that's within me. I feel like anybody who has really strong emotions within this, like you do, everything is a mirror, you have to look inside yourself and see why you so triggered about people wearing stuff like bonnets and pajamas out in public. I get if you don't like it, but to be triggered.
So like this woman said, there's definitely nothing wrong with, wearing a bonnet out in the grocery store, or if you're outside, just driving somewhere casual. Obviously, it is a bit different if you're going into the workplace, though, as we saw in the previous videos, and not come in with sweatpants and a bonnet on.
She was fired. She was fired too. Chick-fil-A even fired a little itty-bitty over here. Gone. Chick-fil-A fired the whole staff.
Every single last one of us got fired.
Why would she do this at work in company uniform on the clock? Why would she do that as a man?
Doing the same thing. And maybe I did do a little bit too much when I turned around and I shook my back because nothing but back and fat was moving.
What? Seriously, what is wrong with you? If you smack your lips one more time, who hired y'all? What was the interview process in that? You know, whoever hired them was black. It had to be. It's either a black man or it's a woke white woman.
Why was Chick-fil-A? Why do y'all only hire white people at Chick-fil-A? I don't know. I'll never understand.
We all know why.
And I'm not even trying to stay here and say that people get up, but just we know how to have fun. It's not being lame.
Being professional.
At the end, they're saying being professional is lame is quite the statement. I guess you never want to move up and get a professional job where you're supposed to wear attire and do things that are professional. Of course, typically fast food is a starter job, but you're still expected to carry yourself professionally.
Fire me tonight because I've been on my phone.
Yeah, you come here to work, not to be on your phone.
My mom and my dad.
Call them.
So everybody be on their phone.
No, everybody is
about my child.
It's not everybody on their phone, and I'm not just picking on your child. Your child is supposed to be
my child is the only one that's fired.
Out of here. This is her reason to get me out of here. She been wanting me out.
You can't talk on the phone at Walmart.
She been wanting me out.
You can't talk on the phone at Walmart. Huh? You can't talk on your phone.
No, not on the floor. Not on the floor.
Exactly.
You can't.
Oh, someone said yes.
No.
Where's your man? Where's your man?
No.
I want your man.
No. And then she got the phone in her hand, always on FaceTime. That's not how you work. I'm the manager.
Employee just like you.
No.
You don't own Walmart.
And I don't. But she out of here. But she out of here. All y'all can go. All y'all can go. All y'all can go. Okay. Okay. Bye. You go. You go. Bye. Bye, little boy. Bye. Y'all have a good night.
This video is absolutely wild because the girl who got fired even admitted that she's always on her phone, but she still doesn't expect to get fired. I really don't know what you expected. And typically in a place like this, you usually get told multiple times to get off your phone or do a better job, or there's some sort of warning system. So obviously, she had to have known beforehand.
Funny is black women is the most educated group of people in this country. But people don't even realize that though, because they be too fixated on us being ghetto looking. They think because we wear the long eyelashes or we wear the long weave or because we talk a certain type of way that we're not educated. No, we are versatile, baby. We talk like the way we talk is because that's how we was raised to talk, but we can switch up at any minute. See, that's where y'all be getting lost at, and y'all be thinking y'all educated. I'm sure get on this and look at me and say, oh, they're just another uneducated ghetto. Baby, I got 2 degrees, baby. I have a master's degree, okay? Yes, I'm very educated. I just get on this and like this because that's what I want to do. That don't make, I promise you, I'm way more educated than I. It's okay, and then that's how y'all get lost in the sauce. Y'all be too fixated on how we look and how we sound, not even knowing educationally we'll run circles around y'all.
When y'all gonna figure it out? And why y'all talk like that? Why do you talk like that? Like, why is, that's unbecoming of a woman to just talk like a straight up hood booger. Like, it really is. And I don't know why y'all do it. I don't know who taught y'all that was cute. The women that's around me, they don't talk like that. Like, they just not hood. And it's not attractive. It's not dope. It's not cute. It's not none of that.
So, of course, there are many factors that weigh on you in terms of how you grow up and the people you are surrounded by in terms of how you talk and what accent you have. And the same goes for everybody else. You can't expect somebody from the South to talk the same as somebody from the North.
And do not wear do-rags out in public. It makes you look crazy, low class, and like a ratchet ghetto thug. You see this do-rag that I have on right now? It's because I'm in bed. It's because I'm in my bedroom. Nobody has to see me in public. I don't wear this outside of my bedroom. I don't wear this walking down the street. Nobody wants to see you wearing a do-rag walking down the street. Makes it look trashy. Makes it look low class. Makes it look ghetto. Makes it look like a thug. Now, I know that you have to wear the do-rag because, you got to keep the waves popping, and I know that, and actually, they help protect your hair in your head from rubbing up against the pillow and all that. It helps protect your follicles and all that. I understand it. But in very rare occasions, are do-rags a fashion statement? I get that some people wear them in the high fashion settings and they're making a statement, and I will give them that. But when you're walking down the street with your do-rag on and you're smoking weed and all that stuff, you're not making a fashion statement. The statement that you're making to people is that you're a low-class, ratchet, ghetto thug.
So, I can't relate to this myself because I don't wear a do-rag, but like he said, if you're wearing a do-rag and smoking out in public, then of course other people are probably going to assume certain things about you. But guys, you won't want to miss this last video.
See, and this is what happens when you have an entire generation of dumb niggas that get on the internet and tell you that everything you do, having decorum, having a standard for yourself, and dressing appropriately in appropriate attire for appropriate situations, everything like that, black people having a fucking standard is kissing up to the white man or basing themselves off European standards and Eurocentric standards. You got a group of young black people thinking it's so fucking funny showing up to a hiring event. And they're in fucking sweatpants, Jordans, Crocs, and t-shirts, do-rags and shit on. And she's smiling like that shit fucking funny. And they're like 21 years old. This is what happens when people like myself, people like Dana, people like Chad have gotten on this app and told y'all, when y'all was sitting there arguing about the bubble coats and Ruth Chris. When we tell y'all to, dress appropriately, dress for the occasion, have some decorum about yourself. Everything ain't gotta be fucking hood rat and ratified. Y'all say we classes, we elitists, we kissing up to the white man. We got European standards for ourselves, as if black people can't have a fucking standard. This is what you get. This is what you produce. See, and then these motherfuckers will go out, not give, like life is a fucking joke, walking around looking like a bag of ass, degenerate as fuck, no standard for themselves, and then when they don't get hired, they don't get a job, oh, it's the white man's fault. That's what y'all do. This is what y'all have produced. And she think it's fun. They think it's funny. I don't care if you go into a job interview for fucking McDonald's, Burger King, Popeyes. The minimum you could do is throw on a fucking polo and some goddamn khakis and some casual shoes and take your ass in there. That's why a lot of y'all are where y'all are at.
Yeah. I mean, this video is absolutely wild because you can see they're all wearing graphic t-shirts, sweatshirts, leggings, sweatpants. I mean, they're really not ready at all, and everybody else is wearing suits and proper attire and not do-ags and stuff like that. You really just have to know there's a place in Italian. But guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. Like and subscribe and comment what you think, and I'll see you in the next.